So, in today's topic, we're tackling when will my true love arrive?
When you're 6 feet underground.
Yeah, Joseph said when you're dead.
Because nobody wants a needy person.
So, what do you mean by when you're dead?
Well, you can't just be like, oh, well, when is somebody gonna love me, right? When is somebody gonna come and I don't know, maybe they think like, oh, cater to me and love me and want to be with me and me. Well, what do you have that somebody would want?
What do you have to love?
Yeah, what do you have to love? Like, do you have a amazing personality? And if so, you wouldn't be looking for like, oh, give me love, give me love, give me love.
You love me?
Yes.
You love me?
Yes, I love you.
I think genuine love comes to you when you're least expecting it, or when you're not even looking for it. Because you're so like for example, right? You and me, you and I. We weren't like, I wasn't really looking for anything. You weren't really looking for anything, but we got to know each other. We got to genuinely know each other, you know. And we would talk about things that mattered. Nowadays, I feel like what would people talk about nowadays in a relationship? Like, oh, so what do you do for a living? Like something like that, right? Like an adult
Like,
conversation when dating.
Wouldn't that be small talk?
I guess that can be, but then that's how you kind of get the ball rolling.
I could never do small talk. I was never good with small talk. So I think that helped in the sense like I was never really cognizant of that. I never like acknowledged that with myself. But when we started talking, I think one of the reasons that helped us talk about those just bigger, meaningful topics is because I didn't know how to do small talk. I never really spoke to girls like that. I was never the guy that flirted. I never knew how to flirt. I was never that guy.
No.
So we would just talk. So we would just talk, and our talks just naturally progress towards I don't know, just meaningful things to where we started learning like, oh, we have these things in common. In our experience, we don't have very many like small things that we have in common, like small hobbies or things like that we have in common. We don't have very many of those. But what we do have in common are like the really meaningful life-building things of like, oh, I believe in family. I believe in being a good dad and being a good mom and raising a child and like
and feeling and feeling good internally, so that way I can bring that into the table. You know, like having good principles in a relationship that we can both bring and we can both grow on it and we can both learn from each other. Wanting to better ourselves, whatever that means for him. If it means, if for me it means working out and eating healthy, for you it can mean reading something that's gonna help you do better or get better or think differently. The bigger picture that we have, what we want to do in life, is what we have in common.
And so that's what we noticed about each other, because, for example, I noticed that about her because that's how she felt herself. She wasn't like, oh, I'm looking for someone to fall in love with me. Are you gonna like me? I'm gonna test and see if you're good looking, or to see if you have conversation, to see if... No, we were just talking and getting to know each other, and I found that she cared about these really good things that I felt that I cared about, that I thought were good. I think that comes from just yourself, as opposed to just sitting there and being like, when will someone fall in love with me? Where are they? And I can't find anyone. And why is this town like this? I've actually had experiences of friends in the past where they get like pissed off and they're like, man, because we're here in Vegas, and they're like, man, Vegas has no morals, and the women here are like this and like that, and I'm never gonna find anybody. So one is where you're looking, obviously, the type of the watering hole that you go to, and who else goes to that watering hole. That's what you're gonna find. So if you go to a club, you're gonna find club girls there, right? If you go to a church, you're gonna find church girls there. Like it matters.
And to be honest, like we all know that people go to the club to hook up.
Right. To hook up or have fun,
just
or
to have fun,
flirt and all these things.
Flirt.
You can't expect to go there with this lofty goal of like, I want to find the one. But then you go to the club looking for the one. That's not
Yeah, and I mean, that's not to say that it can't happen.
It's not impossible.
But that's an exception. That's not the rule.
Right.
Like,
right.
if it happened to you, that's great and that's awesome. But you have to know you're a lucky one.
Mm-hmm.
You're a lucky one and you're an exception, but you're not the rule.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, because yeah, people usually go to a club, yeah, just to have fun, to hang out. I like going to the club. I like going to the club to dance because I love to dance. But yeah, to be honest, like, I never really went to a club to be like, oh, I'm gonna hook up with somebody. I just wanted to go because I like to dance. And when I was younger, I couldn't go to a club, so I would just dance at my house.
Right. Yeah, it's like one of those stereotypical things of when the guy tells the girl, if you like the club so much, if you actually like to dance so much, why don't you dance at your house? Yeah, she dances at home. Yeah, she dances at home. She dances, she doesn't need to go out to dance. She actually likes to dance, so she dances. So yes, it's focusing again. It's kind of like externally, just sitting there and waiting for this external thing to come to you. I think is the wrong strategy. You have to work on yourself, and you have to be like yourself. Work on yourself, and then you'll find someone else that just happens to be working on themselves, and to some degree, and then you can both work on yourselves together, and now you can both be in good moods and happy attitudes together. I feel I was really lucky early on when I started getting on YouTube. I found this dude named Swoozy. Look him up, and he actually spoke about his channel was mainly at the time like about stories and video games. So I was there because of the video games, but then every now and then he would have videos about stories of relationships or just things that happened to him. Mm-hmm. And he had one where he spoke about be at 100 yourself, and then when you meet someone else that's 100, mm-hmm. you could both now be at 200. Real simple. Mm-hmm. It's that principle of like work on yourself, be happy with yourself, and then you can have a good attitude and a sunny disposition to find somebody else that's similar to that also has a good attitude and that also has this a sunny disposition to life and just to things, have a good attitude. Mm-hmm. The world is your mirror is another principle that I really like, of like if you wake up with a horrible attitude and you're like, this day's gonna suck, and then that's what you portray out into the world when you go in and see the mailman, and your face is like, man, screw the mailman, man, screw everybody, screw this, screw that, and the mailman's gonna probably look at you and be like, well, this guy's this guy's an asshole or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the world is your mirror. You're just gonna get back whatever you're putting out, right? So you're probably gonna have a really horrible day because the first thing you woke up in the morning saying is, this day sucks. That's probably what's gonna happen. So it's like if you work on yourself and you have a good attitude, I think you'll just naturally start pulling that in. That also personally I know happened to a friend, another friend, where he was in that state of mind of like, things is horrible, girls don't even say hi to me, blah blah blah. But then we had a conversation and he started working on himself, and then lo and behold, eventually he started going on dates and he found somebody, and it was all because he was just no longer worrying about, man, girls are like this, girls are like that, blah, 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 worrying about things that you can't control or that he couldn't control. Instead, he started worrying about himself and what he could control, started working on that, and then someone noticed. When will my true love arise? Mm-hmm. When you're ready for it.
Yeah, when you're ready for it. When you're able to handle it. When you're able to recognize it. When you're able to cherish it. When you're able to give it meaning. I would feel like if I had somebody in front of me and they're like, oh my God, when am I going to find love? I want love. Okay, why? Why do you want love at this moment, this point of your life? Mm-hmm. Like if you say, if your answer is because you're lonely or anything, that's not.
Okay, so what if they're like, because I see my other group of friends, they all have relationships and I'm the only one without a relationship. Mm-hmm. What would you say?
Well, I mean, it has happened to me where everybody around me had relationships when I was a teenager, and I really didn't have one. And I would be like, what's wrong with me? Yeah, I would be like, how come I'm not in a relationship, And I would see, back then, through 2 years, 3 years was like, a long time. Like, oh my God, they've been in a relationship forever.
Yeah.
But I would see the type of guys that they had. I don't know. I pay attention to that. Pay attention to the type of guys that they have. Because there's one thing to just, because I'm sure if a girl wants like, oh, like a relationship, you can go ahead and go out and get a guy to be in a relationship with you. It's not going to be a meaningful relationship. It's not going to be a strong or nice or maybe a healthy relationship, but a relationship nonetheless.
But you can get a guy.
Yeah, but you can get a guy. And same as a guy. A guy can go, and then if they want to have a quote unquote relationship with a girl, they can go out and, but the same thing, it's not going to be meaningful. It's probably not going to last. It's going to be full of drama. It's going to be hectic. It's going to drain you emotionally and physically, if anything. And that's what I would see. I started like observing that, and I'm like, damn, if that's what a relationship is like, then I'm good. Yeah. And then like even when I was a teenager and I started working, I would see how guys would act to girls, and I would be like that's not right. Right. Like that. I don't like so.
Like the guys that you told me that you work with at Pollo Loco. When they would like try to scoot by, and what would they do?
Oh yeah, so to the girls, sometimes the girls would be like, and then the guys would come and to them, and they would be like, they would be like, oh, stop it! Oh my god, I'm ticklish. What the heck? You'd be like, fucking touch me. Like, why the hell are you touching me? Like, why are you poking my side? And I know that some girls is like, oh, they're just being playful. Okay, fine. If you wanna seem that's like the type of girl that they can play around with, then that's fine. That's on you. But just keep in mind that that's the type of
image that you're conveying.
Giving. Yeah. And I'm not saying to be serious and to be fake, even though me personally they had a nickname for me. They would call me enojona, which how would you translate it in English? Mimi? Angry girl.
Angry Betty?
Angry Betty. Because I always had a serious face. And that's usually because I was more focused like on what I was doing. And I used to work at Pollo Loco, a fast food place. I would be in the drive-thru. I was focusing on what I was doing. I wasn't really thinking of like, oh my god, or whatever like that. Because honestly, the guys there weren't even worth thinking about. Because the same thing, I would see how they would act with these girls, and I would be like, if they act with girls, like that. Like, imagine if they get a girlfriend. Like, who knows if they even have a girlfriend outside and they're over here flirting with other girls. So it's like, does somebody really want to get in that drama and that? So yeah, like, and everybody thought that I was like always like in a bad mood or mad or something. But no, it's just that I wasn't focused on having these guys flirt with me, or I wasn't focused in flirting with these guys. I was just focused on what I was doing at my work, getting the freaking orders out. That's the thing, like, just try to stay focused on what you're doing, what you have in front of you, whatever good you have in front of you, whatever it is, and love, or somebody will eventually notice that about you and be like, yeah, I'm like that's the girl that I would like to get to know. And then vice versa, you to a guy. If you see a guy, there's a joke, I'm pretty sure you've heard it, that they're like, like a guy is walking, all happy and confident, because he's happy feeling, he's happy about his life, he's happy about his self-confidence, blah, blah, and then the girl is like, that's the guy who want to ruin his life.
He's happy. Let me destroy that.
But yeah, it's a joke, but then it's kind of the same, but without the malicious intent of going and destroying the guy.
It's just that it's just attractive when someone is in a good mood. Good attitude is attractive. It's infectious. It's the thing where
it's the law of attraction, right?
It's the law of attraction. Say at your job where the boss is angry and he comes in and he slams the door, it's open, he slams the door shut, he shuts himself in his office, then everybody's like, whoa, right? The energy's different, right? The energy's like, whoa, don't do anything to get on his bad side, right? Don't get caught, right? Or else you're gonna get caught in the storm. It's kind of the same thing. If the boss or the manager walks in and he comes in and he's all smiling and he's like, hey, how's it going, everybody? Today's gonna be an awesome day. We're gonna do it like this, we're gonna do it like that. And now the energy is different, right? Now everybody's in a good mood, everybody's, willing to work or whatever the situation is, but the energy changes. That is attractive. Nobody wants to be in bad energy. Like, why?
And it also has to be genuine, because and I say genuine because in order for you to feel, energetic and positive, you actually genuinely have to be positive about yourself, about your life, about what you're doing.
It's hard to fake that.
Yeah, because if not, you're just gonna, the person's gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna be like, oh, look at this cheerleader is back again, or look at this, pretend happy person, is back again, and then they're just gonna seem fake. Which would, in all rightful so, like they should be called out on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why working on yourself, like going back to, working on yourself, being happy with yourself, being happy for who you are as a person, as a human being, having principles, just having. And I'm not talking about having materialistic principles.
I think have something that you're working towards.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult I would say it's difficult for everyone, but I would say a slight degree for women. It's a little bit harder to have something to focus on because they're always 24/7 being propositioned by men who say, I will make your life better and I will help you make your life easier and come with me and things will be great over here. Like guys don't have that. They're alone, period. Like you're alone, figure it out. So in a way, like our perseverance comes from that loneliness and us having to figure things out by ourselves. Women, it's really easy to be like, well, I have this guy over here. He wants to take me out on a date. I think I'm gonna go. Or something happens. Oh, this guy stood me up. Well, I think tomorrow, I have this other guy. I can actually text someone else, or I can actually be on the phone with someone else. Like it's not a huge problem. Like women. I think girls, very emotional options. Yeah. Guys don't have emotional options. It's figure it out and get it done. Otherwise, it's downhill. But yeah, I think having something to focus on, something that you're working towards, whether it's yourself, whether it's I don't know, just making more money or your health. Or what have you. If you're working on something and it makes you feel good, if it brings you a better attitude, if it helps you create a better attitude and a better disposition towards yourself, I think it's going to be worthwhile, and that is what will help attract someone to you instead of just sitting there and being like, when will my true love arrive?
Or instead of, or vice versa, you going out and seeking, like, are you my true love? Are you my true love?
Right.
Are you my true love? And just sleeping with everybody because you think one of them could have been your true love.
Oh,
it's
man,
like, no.
That's a whole nother, yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
It's a whole nother dark black hole to jump into of like just going with everyone.
But that's when you'll find your true love, when you love yourself. I know it's so cliche because everybody says like, oh, you have to love yourself first. But
it's cliche for a reason. Like,
it's true. It's
make
true
it not make sense. Right? Make it not make sense. And I guarantee you, if you're that person that makes this cliche stuff not make sense, I bet you're single.
or divorced.
Or divorced.